when you don't want to live anymore. Today, I want to talk a little bit to anybody out there who is struggling with feelings of wanting to end their life or not wanting to live anymore and wanting everything to end and finding that everything's just too hard and too overwhelming and they feel like their body is shutting down through pain, fear, anxiety. This happens to a lot of people out there who suffer these kinds of things, especially if they're grieving or they've had a loss. It's very hard to pull yourself out and start to kickstart your life and get going again. Now you've got to accept that you're not going to wake up the next day and go from feeling these feelings of wanting to give up to feeling joy and happiness overnight, because that's just not going to happen. Everything isn't just going to be light and fluffy and full of sunshine the next day. So what you've got to look at is doing this in stages and doing it in baby steps. So there's a lot of things you can do if you're feeling like you're in that real state of despair. You've got to actually reach out to people first. So it's really important that you talk to a friend, you talk to family members, you get to a doctor or a psychologist and you really discuss how you're actually feeling, because you're not going to get committed for having feelings of wanting to exit this life. There's nothing wrong with that, because people who are in that state, that's a common feeling to have. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to act on that. But when you are feeling this way, it's really important that you reach out to people and you sort of seek out help. If you feel that you don't want to reach out to somebody you know, there's also a lot of options now. There's you can ring Lifeline, and there's also Kids Helpline, and I think if you Google that, the number should pop up. And there's even a men's helpline as well for men out there that are struggling with sort of these sort of feelings of wanting to give up on life. Other things that you can do is you can actually start to look at your passions and what makes you feel good inside. So some people it might be gardening, some people might be really into art and painting. Sometimes if you get back to the things that you're really passionate in life, it can sometimes ignite that little spark that's kind of died inside of you. So that's another thing. Giving yourself things to look forward to is something else that you can do, because that helps to propel you and sort of move you forward with your life, so that you're not sort of staying stuck just living in the pain and all the thoughts that are going around and around. These are the kind of things that can interrupt some of these thoughts. I know going to the movies is another example of just getting out of your own mind and your thoughts for 2 hours, because when you sit in a movie theater watching a movie, you're pretty distracted. And that's a simple way, and that's just an example of how you can actually stop some of these thoughts. But there's nothing wrong with feeling like you want to exit this life and that you want to have relief. Really, it is from the pain and the sadness and the grief or the things that are going on, because it can be very painful. And I think what people don't realize out there sometimes is that what's going on in the mind is not just about the mind, it becomes actual physical pain in the body. So when you're dealing with anyone who's suffering like depression or grief and these kind of things, it is very physical and it takes a real toll on them, because the pain just becomes so consuming and overwhelming that sometimes people just can't shift that pain. And that's another example. Physical activity, like any sort of form of exercise, can really help you to sort of get the endorphins pumping again too, and change the way that you're feeling from that really negative state and wanting to sort of give up. It can actually start to kickstart your life again as well. And I've got a few videos on a few different things too, like setting goals and other things as well, which can sometimes help you too if you're feeling really stuck in these kind of situations. So hopefully a few of these tips might help you today when you are feeling like you're really stuck in that state of just wanting to give up. Just reach out to people and don't give up, because there's a lot of life to be lived out there, and you can actually turn that around, and you sort of need to know that that can be done. There's a lot of people out there who have also experienced the things that you have, and they've managed to come out the other side and get on with their life and have a great and wonderful life. So keep that in your mind when you're thinking about these things as well, that you can actually shift it. So that's all for today. I hope it helps you a little bit when you are feeling that way, because it is a very uncomfortable and very painful place to be. So hit the like button below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.